Hello, friends. Welcome to Season 2 of the Dr. B Show, sponsored by 111 Spa and Aesthetics, Get More Clicks Media, and Bora Consulting Group's Transforming Your Way to Success online course. In the season premiere of Season 2 of the Dr. B Show, I have the honor of interviewing Chief Executive Officer of Forme Medical Center and Urgent Care, the amazing Maria Trusa. We also discuss her book, I Say No More, Raise Your Voice, and Rewrite Your Life. Enjoy the interview.
Hi, Dr. B here. Are you struggling to get rid of stubborn fat but don't want to have plastic surgery? 111 Spa and Aesthetics non-invasive slimming massage can help you get the body you always wanted. 111 Spa and Aesthetics can also help you when it comes to cellulite treatments and body contouring massage. 111 Spa and Aesthetics offers a full range of skincare services, including facials, acne, scar treatments, skin tightening, microdermabrasion, and more. 111 Spa and Aesthetics are trained professionals with extensive skincare experience and utilize only the best equipment possible. For more information, please visit their website at www.111aesthetics.com. That's 1-O-N-E-11 Eleven SpaAesthetics.com, located at 10 East Moonachie Road in Hackensack, New Jersey, 07601. And to make an appointment, don't miss out, 201-520-1777, 201-520-1777, 111 Spa and Aesthetics.
Hello, friends. Welcome to another edition of the Dr. B Show. I'm your host, Dr. B. I have the lovely pleasure of having Maria Trusa. Maria, how are you?
I am doing great, Dr. B. Jairo.
Thank you.
It's nice to be here with you on a beautiful day. Thank you so much for allowing me to come here and talk about my mission.
Thank you. Appreciate it. So tell everyone about yourself. I know you, but I want the rest of my audience doesn't know you. So
I am the CEO of Forme Medical Center and Urgent Care, and I happen to have a few missions. So my first mission started 5 years ago when I joined Gina Capelli, my business partner, with the mission to help the uninsured community, a very strong focus on the undocumented population and people that didn't have insurance. So that was my first mission. I've been in healthcare for over 35 years. I know.
You started when you was one.
People ask, how could it be 35 years?
Right.
But so in healthcare, I knew that I wanted to help people after being in a medical practice for 26 years, where I grew from being a medical assistant to an office manager a few years later. And then 4 years later, I was the executive director, and lasted 26 years in this practice. I obtained tremendous amount of experience in healthcare that actually allowed me to build this amazing practice with Gina, my partner Gina. And we're serving over 30,000 people already, believe it or not, after 5 years. But Jairo, that is one of my mission. I mean, my second mission is, as you know, I wrote a book. The book is I Say No More. It's in Spanish, Yo Digo No Más. And I also have a social movement that it is my biggest passion, I would say. I am bringing awareness of sexual abuse in the Latino community, which is something that I call it a silent pandemic. It is a pandemic that is destroying our community, that is suppressing our Latino community. And it is an unspoken pandemic because there is so much shame and many, many other issues. So in my book, I talk about my story, and we'll get into it a little bit more. But in a nutshell, that is who I am. I am a woman with a few missions.
I love it. So tell us about the book. Why did you write it? What inspired you to write the book?
I was in Colorado skiing with my boys. If those of you that don't know me, I have 3 children. I have Franco, who's 36, and Jeffrey, who's 31, and I have a 13-year-old daughter, Natasha. And I always try to take a vacation with my boys alone. And we went to Colorado to ski. And I remember waiting for my son, Franco, to get in, and the plane got delayed. So it was like 2:00 in the morning. I was talking to my son, Jeffrey, and they know my story. And my son said, Mom, you have to tell your story. You cannot leave this world without telling your story. You can inspire so many people. He's like, I don't know many CEOs that have a story like yours. And so he planted this seed. And from there is somebody reached out to me a week later to do a documentary that still has not come out. And then a week later, 2 weeks later, I get a friend of mine that says, you have to write a book. You have to write a book. And I took that sign. I'm very aware of signs. I took that sign and I said, I have to do this book. And if I was going to do it, I knew that I was going to be completely open, authentic, and tell the story, the good, the bad, and the ugly, my mistakes, my success, all the tools that I've used to get to where I am. And, the book talks about my story as a child, and then it brings it to the age of 55.
Awesome. Amazing story. So I wrote a book as well. So tell us about your actual process. Did you get to have a ghostwriter? Did you time block? Some people that listen are aspiring authors. So everyone has their own personal journey. So from the actual, from typing it up on Word until print, what was can you explain some of the process, or how did you go about finishing the book?
So I actually recorded most of my book. I went in and really, I did the documentary, and as I ended filming the documentary in the Dominican Republic, it was the last filming, I realized that I've sort of have gone through the journey of my life for the documentary. So in a way, it made it easier for me because I had to really dig into my past, get in touch with a lot of the feelings. And I started to dictate my story. And I did use someone that edited my book. I had an editor. So there was like 25 hours of my voice telling my story. And I took it on, from the beginning. So it was chapter by chapter. And before I even started the process, I went and I spoke with my aunt. I spoke with my cousin who was, that knew my mom even more than anyone else. And my mom had passed away when I started writing the book. And I wish if she would have been alive, I think I would have gotten a lot more from her. But my goal was to really interview as many people from my past as possible, because I ended up blocking a lot of my past. My childhood was a childhood of trauma. And when you go through the trauma, for me at least, and I know this happens to people that go through such a traumatic experience, that they tend to block certain parts of their past. And that's what happened to me. So I did a lot of homework. And what I did was, I knew this was going to take me a while, and I picked every weekend when I didn't have my daughter, because I'm divorced and my daughter goes every other weekend with my ex-husband. When I didn't have her, I actually worked on the book every day, like Saturday hours, Sunday hours. And I tried to get as much as I could, because then I had all the time in the world. That's how I felt. And when I had my daughter, then I would wake up really early at 6:00. And the idea was that 3 hours prior to her waking up, I would have already have worked on the book. So I made a commitment, and I think, this is for the people that are inspiring to write their book. I think everybody should write their own story, because guess what? This book is being left for my children, my grandkids, my great grandkids will get to listen to my Audible book or read my book. And the lessons that I've learned throughout my life, I was able to get inspired and give it to everyone, so that hopefully people could get a lot from the book. But it's a journey, and it's a major commitment. But the idea is, little by little, you start putting those deposits into the book account, and before you know it, the book is finished. And obviously, there's editing. It costs money. This was not a cheap undertake, but it was part of my mission. So to me, really, I've been blessed. I am financially free, and I talk about this in the book, because coming from where I come from, I really shouldn't even be financially free, because when you go through this traumatic experience, you develop relationships in every front of your life, which I call your body, your family, your financial, even fun. All of it gets affected. And so I talk about all of these different fronts of my life in the book. So it's an interesting journey. You learn a lot about yourself. I mean, how was your experience writing your book?
It was amazing. I had all this knowledge in networking for so long, and I wanted to, pass on this knowledge. And I don't want to, similar to you, I don't want to leave this earth, containing all this knowledge, but I love to give back, similar to you. So I didn't record it. I actually typed every night a chapter, chapter in the day, chapter in the evening. And eventually, yes, I did hire an editor and a PR person to help me with the promotion of the book. So it's a very interesting process. So good. So I have questions for you. So as far as takeaways, so what do you hope that people take away from or learn from reading the book?
So as I talk about, let's get into the trauma. Right? Because I think people would understand a little bit deeper why the book. So I come from, I'm from the Dominican Republic. I was born and raised in the Dominican Republic until the age of 15. That's when I came to the United States. My mom, I come from a family of 5, and my mom had to get divorced from my dad because my dad, unfortunately, became an alcoholic and became very irresponsible. And we struggle. We struggle a lot in the Dominican Republic. I talk about in the book how we moved in a matter of, I think it was not even a year, 17 times. We were kicked out of houses because my father would not pay the rent. So my mom decided to come to the United States. And that's when my journey of trauma began. I was 8 years old, and I had a little brother that was 4, and my Billy was 11 when she left. And then I had 2 older brothers that came with my mom to the United States to work and support us there. But they had no means of, leaving us in a house. So what my mom did was that a cousin of my mom took me, and then a friend of my mother took Billy, and then my little brother stayed with my father's parents. So we had to separate, and I lost my mom in a way, at that age, and I was really struggling. I miss my mom. I miss my brothers. I got to see them every few weeks because there was nobody driving us. And I go through all the challenges of being like an independent child at the age of 8. So I definitely, I'm someone that have to deal with abandonment issues, because no matter what, obviously my mom meant to do the best that she could for us. And later on in life, I realized that. But I resented my mom for everything that happened. So a year later, my mom is able to get a house with my brothers. They got us a house so that the family, my two brothers and I, can come together. And they got someone that it was going to take care of us. And the only thing my father had to do was actually buy food. And unfortunately, many times, I remember, and I talk about it in the book, one Christmas where we ate bread and butter because my father never showed up to bring us food. And but the worst thing is that one night my father decided, this is when I was 9 years old, my father came in the middle of the night to take my little brother, and with this witchcraft men that we call him the brujo in the town where I come from, which is a very small town. And they were taking my little brother. And in era, believe it or not, they were sacrificing kids. So I had no clue what was going to happen with my little brother. All I knew is that I was screaming for my father not to take him. And my father said, then you have to go. And my father drove me with this man to where he was doing the witchcraft. He took me inside there, forced me to drink a bottle of whiskey at the age of 9. Gave me some pills. I don't know what he gave me. I had to chug a bottle of whiskey at the age of 9. And then he took me out of where he was doing his witchcraft, told me that he will kill me and kill my family if I said anything of what was going to happen that night. He took me to a motel and he brutally raped me the entire night, brutally. He destroyed my body. He destroyed my soul that night. It was, people will read the story. I always hear how the first chapter where I talk about the whole experience, and I go into a lot of details because I wanted the people that would read the book to get really in touch with the pain so that they could understand that I could come from such a broken place and I could build my life and rewrite my story to where I am today, because the book is about perseverance. It is about the commitment that I made to my life and how I had so many struggles because of that night. This man stole my innocence. And unfortunately, Jairo, this is a story that is extremely common, different stories. But when it comes to child abuse, sexual abuse, it is something that happens more than we know. It is something where we are so ashamed. It took me 47 years to tell my story. Even my nephews and nieces, no one knew what happened to me that night. And the entire lycée, this is where I come from, everybody knew what happened because this was big news in the town. I had to have surgery. They thought I was going to lose my right ovary because he destroyed me internally and destroyed, like I said, my God, my whole life for so many years. But at one point I said no more. I decided, and I talk about it in the book, we would have to talk for hours to give you all the details, but I had catalysts in my life that actually propelled me to say no more, where I knew that if I continue with it, destroying myself, I was not just destroying myself, but I was destroying my children. So the book tells you the entire story, my relationships with my toxic relationships with my ex-husbands. I was married twice. And I talk about how I took abuse because I ended up being someone that got comfortable with abuse from my father, abuse from this man. And it just became toxic relationship after toxic. But the idea of the book is that I can show you that you can change your life, that you don't have to stay stuck in victim mode. And I love when I hear from people when they read the book and they tell me exactly the message that I wanted, they get it and they get inspired. So I'm on a mission to really inspire and change this vicious cycle, because I know I broke the cycle. I want other people to start breaking the cycle as well. Amazing story, and unfortunate instances, but you was able to turn that around and change the narrative, right? And say no more, right? No mas. Amazing. That's really amazing. Do you want to promote your product or services to your target audience, but don't know how? Do you struggle with social media marketing and management? Do you have challenges with lead generation for your business online? Well, look no further. Get More Clicks Media helps with SMS, MMS, and email marketing. Also, social media marketing and management, video marketing, lead generation, brand recognition, SEO, e-commerce, and website development. For more information, please visit getmoreclicksmedia.com. That's getmoreclicksmedia.com. So just shifting gears a little bit. So tell us a little bit more about Forme Medical Center, urgent care, and what you do there. I know you kind of alluded to it a little bit earlier, in the beginning of the interviews. Tell us a little bit more about what you do there. So at Forme, our main focus is, like I said, the uninsured community. We do have a lot of insured patients. We have a medical center that treats our community with dignity. From the moment you walk into our facility, people call us the hotel because we have chandeliers, it's a beautifully decorated place. We have excellent doctors. And my goal was to duplicate what I did at Scarsdale Medical, which was where I spent 26 years of my life, to be able to duplicate it and bring it to the underserved community. And we have an urgent care. So before COVID, we were open every single day, 365 days a year. And we're culturally sensitive. And that's the reason, we decided that we were going to open up every day, because our community works a few jobs. They are, this is the hardworking community, and they need to be able to have access to healthcare, and we needed to be flexible with the schedule. So we have urgent care, we have primary care, gynecology, podiatry, cardiology, and now we have a COVID testing center that we've created since the beginning of April. So we've been doing COVID testing, and this is something because this is the community that we serve did not have access to the COVID testing at least in Westchester County. You needed to drive to the facility to get your test. You needed an ID. So, a lot of my patients don't have ID. A lot of my patients don't drive. Mm-hmm. So we were one of the first centers to open up where patients can actually walk. We had a tent outside of the building where our patients will come in and get tested on basically on the sidewalk. And we started doing so many tests. And now we actually have a center with 10 rooms. We're doing close to 500 COVID tests per day for May. We're growing. We are bringing in another internist. So the idea is to really grow this business, which, Jairo, Dr. B, this has not been easy. It is by far the hardest thing I've done in my life, to really build a business from nothing.
Yeah.
And that's what we did. So at Forme, that's what we do. We have something very special, which is a medical membership that is focused on the uninsured community. So basically, it's having a membership to Forme. You pay $1 a day, $365 a year. You get access unlimited to urgent care. And then you have major discounts throughout Westchester with the specialists, with imaging centers, with Quest, with a pharmacy. We have built a really comprehensive program for the uninsured community that I'm extremely proud of.
How did you come up with that, with the whole medical membership and that concept, being able to help the underserved, the uninsured? How'd you come up with that concept? And I guess I just want to know a little bit about the backstory behind that.
Yeah, so this was the mission, to help the uninsured community. So my business partner and I were looking at different ways that we can help them. And at the beginning, I remember saying, well, we can give maybe a point system where we give them a card, and every time they come, they get a discount. And we were just getting very creative. And my Gina Capelli, my business partner, one day she goes, how about if we do like a membership program where they can pay a certain fee, and then they can just get access to the urgent care. And we started working the numbers out. And then we're like, okay, I said, well, if they pay this fee, and we came up with $1 a day because it made it easier to talk about, right? $1 a day, 365 days, $365 a year. You were able to get, so it was easier to market that way. But at the same time, we analyzed the numbers, and people were saying to us, well, they're going to take advantage of this. But what people don't understand is that the uninsured community, and a lot of the people that are undocumented, they have 2 to 3 jobs. They're not people that are going to abuse the system. As a matter of fact, the idea is to really bring them on so that they can have their physicals, which it was part of the membership then. Right. And it is now. We wanted them to have the physical so that they can preventive care. This is something that we want to encourage in the community. So when you have a mission and your mission is clear, you get creative. So we got very creative on how to bring access to healthcare to this community.
Right. That's amazing. Amazing story. What has your experience as you said you moved up the ranks, and your last role prior to taking on the role at Forme was executive director of a Scarsdale Medical Group. And being a business consultant. What has all that? How has all that experience helped you in running Forme today?
Well, I obtained tremendous experience there. I had this mentality that everything is my job. You know how some people say that's not my job? Right. And I always tell people, if you want to have an average life, then say that's not my job. Because if you're going to be stuck, and you have to be hungry. So I was extremely hungry for knowledge. I was extremely hungry to succeed because I was the sole provider. I was a single mom for 17 years. So for me, whatever they asked me to do, I would do. So I ended up learning all the different aspects of the healthcare field. Everything from the business end, being a medical assistant, working in the lab, working as a receptionist. I didn't care. If I had to clean, I would clean. It didn't matter. I was hungry for knowledge, and I was hungry for I needed to be successful. So I ended up learning every aspect of the business. What I have transferred to Forme Medical Center, it's all this knowledge that I obtain. And I, to really grow Forme, the thing that I had the biggest challenge was, it wasn't when it came to the structure, because I knew how to build it. Right. It was more, how do I market something that is number one is, for the underserved community, which there is different needs to be able to market. I had to understand how I was going to be able to get the word out that we have this mission. So I ended up getting into social media, which I never have Facebook, Instagram, nothing before. Right. So I ended up realizing and reading books from Grant Cardone, Sell or Be Sold.
I'm reading it now. It's a good book.
You're reading it now?
I'm reading it now. I'm listening to it now. It's great. It's a great listen so far. So I'm like halfway through it. It's a great book.
I actually, I think I listened to, because I do audibles too. Mm-hmm. I listened to most of his books and became, someone that just figure out how to market. And I started building relationships, very strong relationships with community services that service the community that I wanted to serve. So all of it, look at where we are now, like over 30,000 patients.
Amazing. What advice would you give to aspiring women who want to get into entrepreneurship, either all in or whether it's on the side? What advice would you give to aspiring women?
Do your homework. Really understand what you're trying to do. And more than anything, no matter what it is that you're going to do, you have to be connected as the mission. What is your purpose? And the purpose cannot just be money. Because if the purpose is money, it doesn't work. You need to, I read the book, I listened to the book, Shoe Dog. This is the guy from Nike. Mm-hmm. And I remember that even him, he was making shoes. He had a mission. His mission was to build the best shoes for runners. He was a runner. And he wanted to make sure that his shoe was comfortable, that everyone that was going to use it was that they would run and they would be inspired by his shoes. So it doesn't matter what the product is, there has to be a mission attached to that product. And then you start doing your homework. It's very important that you prepare yourself, that you create a business plan, that you don't just go out of the blue and say, I'm going to leave my job and I can tell you my ex-husband did that, my first ex-husband. And I remember I was like, you quit your job and you're going to do a business and you have $20,000. And I talk about it in the book, $20,000 that we have saved. And you don't even know what you want to do, and you don't even have a business plan. You got to have a business plan. And there are so many organizations out there that actually, wherever you live, there's many organizations that are nonprofit that could help you build a business plan, help you understand. Part of it has to be passion and mission, but part of it has to be planning.
I agree 100%. Yeah, it's all about, most businesses fail because of lack of planning. So I agree with you 100%. Just to wrap things up, great conversation. Where could people find more information about you or about the book and your resiliency, and you was able to bounce back throughout that trauma and look at you today? Amazing story, amazing, inspiring story.
Thank you. So I have a website, it's mariatrusa.org. And in this website, I actually I do a podcast that I do every day, Monday through Friday. And it's called Reflect. I do it in Spanish and English, Reflexiones con Maria, Reflecting with Maria. And in the podcast, I actually just share my emotions. What am I feeling today? How am I connecting to something that happened to me? And how do I use, I'm sort of giving people how I use my tools to be able to continue, because life is a journey. We never stop working. So I work at my life every day, but I don't make it where I have to work on my life. It's more, I want to reflect. and I reflect for a few minutes, and they actually can access the podcast there. And I have Encore and Spotify. They're out there. In addition to that, my social media, I do a lot of posting, as you know, LinkedIn. I have a lot of followers on LinkedIn that are very loyal. So I want to thank them. Take this opportunity to thank them. And also Facebook, Maria Trusa, Instagram, Maria Trusa. And the book, I Say No More, is in Amazon. You can get it in my website and also my Facebook. Thank you.
Thank you, Maria. Pleasure having you on my podcast. I know our listeners are going to learn a great deal about your story and your resiliency and able to bounce back from such a traumatic experience. And I'm so proud of you. I'm so happy that we've met, networking, ironically, a few years ago. And I'm honored to be your friend. So thank you so much. Thank you for being on my show.
Well, thank you so much. I always say it is an honor for me to be able to attend, interviews like this, because it just helps me continue spreading the word in my mission. I say no more. This is our sign. I say no more.
Love it. Love it. Thank you so much. Take care, everybody. Has the pandemic changed the way you prospect today? Do you struggle prospecting for new leads for your business? Do you have challenges and don't have a process when networking at an event, either virtually or online? Well, look no further. Borja Consulting Group's Transforming Your Way to Success online course is a solution. In this 8-week intensive course, you will go from networking novice to networking guru. As a bonus, 2 coaching sessions with Dr. Jairo Borja himself are now included in the course. Don't miss this amazing opportunity to transform your pipeline, increase quality leads, close more deals, and transform your way to success. For more information, please visit our website, www.borjaconsultinggroup.com. That's www.borjaconsultinggroup.com. Hello, friends. I hope you enjoyed today's episode of the Dr. B Show, sponsored by 111 Spa and Aesthetics, Get More Clicks Media, and Borja Consulting Group's Transforming Your Way to Success online course. Remember to transform your pipeline, increase quality leads, and go from networking novice to networking guru with Borja Consulting Group's Transforming Your Way to Success online course. Please visit our website at www.borjaconsultinggroup.com. Take care.